So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
Oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar.
Yes. And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also podcast with video for Patreon.
Woo! Come join our pretty little faces. We look decent these days when we record because we have video.
I'm doing it because I have to go to work.
Oh, I forgot about that.
This is my work look.
I'm like, make sure you shower and blow dry your hair. That's what I mean by I look good.
No, I look, but no, sometimes you do post like old videos on our socials and I'll go, oh.
Because we're behind in our Vanderpump Rules rollout. So like that compared to our Summer House, Martha's Vineyard episodes, they're like a year apart.
I mean, my last company beat me down so badly. I would show up 3 out of 3 days in leggings.
It was also, you were allowed to wear pretty casual stuff.
But I wouldn't try, like, no matter what. Sometimes there were even, like, days I knew I had to interview someone.
Oh my God.
And I would show up in leggings and a sweatshirt. Like, I hated it. This is only a week too, but I actually want to look, like, kind of decent.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel better. And I just, look prettier, I guess. It's for me. So.
I love it.
This happens to be this way.
Look it, she looks great.
Plus, the hair has been curling really well. I don't know what's with the weather, but the hair has not stopped curling.
It looks really good.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy with it.
Anytime.
Okay, really quick. Can you guys please do all the stuff? We have an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Patreon. All the links are in our bio. And please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. We haven't read a review in I don't know how long, and I miss it.
Wait, you're so right. Sometimes I forget during this time when we're not in like our quote unquote live seasons. But like this is live seasons. Also is always live. So
do you think it's because no one's listening?
No, people are listening. I know people are listening. And people comment. I have seen DMs about people and like, oh, I'm so excited to hear this topic or whatever. So like all those people I've talked to in the DMs, go drop a review especially.
Just no one's listening. That's okay. You don't have to.
No, you do. I'm going to be the mean one now. I'm bad cop just for this podcast. Go review. Thank you.
Go off. Okay. I think that's all I had. Meredith, are you ready to do our small celebrations? So Meredith and I every week do a small celebration because we believe in celebrating the big and the small, and we have no big stuff happening. So we do the small stuff because everyone deserves to be celebrated.
Woo!
You go first.
I had a small little fight with my cousin who was in town this weekend, which is not the celebration, but the celebration is I said how I felt, which I feel like is huge for me. I was really upset when it happened. We were drinking. So I like talked to him the next day. Normally I would brush it under the rug, but I'm trying really hard to like give my space for my feelings.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
How did you feel after?
It was awkward because we still had to hang out because he was visiting me, but it took us like 45 minutes to roll right into it. So at first I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done this. And then once we got back into our groove, I was like, you did the right thing.
You felt better?
Yeah.
That's my fear with my real feelings, is then it gets awkward and I don't know how to proceed.
But like, we're entertainers at heart. Like people can't stop the fun.
I will stop. If I'm pissed at you, I'll stop it.
No, I know, but like we can bring it back around if we want to.
Yeah, my nightmare is awkwardness.
Yeah, so like I'll make sure it doesn't happen. Do you hear that plane? Is that a plane?
Yeah, I was just literally okay. So I haven't had my windows open since the wasp flew in, but it was kind of hot and stuffy in my apartment, so I opened them, and then a plane does that. I know. That was ridiculous. Well, I'm very proud of you, Meredith.
Thank you.
Okay, my small celebration is that, and this might not seem like it because I do it a lot or I have in the past, but I exercised twice this week. And I know that sounds like not a big deal, but I haven't done a workout since I went to Italy, which was July.
Really?
And now we're in September. Yeah, I haven't done. I mean,
it's hard when you get out of the groove of it. Okay, that's
Yeah.
exercise though, Alicia.
Yeah, but
But like
like
a
a
workout
workout.
class.
Yeah, no, but just like a workout on my own. Like
Yeah.
any kind of extra working out because yeah, walking is working out, but also I was always like, oh, I'm too lazy to like do another workout. Like I had the time, I just didn't have the motivation. I felt like stupid about it. But then I was like, I really miss my muscles that I had built because I could
Mhm.
tell they were going away because it's
Yeah.
been a while. And so I wanted to work out, but I couldn't find motivation. But I did it twice this week. So
Yay.
plus I watched TV the whole time. I had a lot of TV shows to catch up on. So it like worked out well.
Is that why you got through Secret Lives of Mormon Wives so quick? Because you were nervous you weren't going to finish it before this.
I did watch that during one of my workouts. Yes.
I'm so
And then
happy you
the
worked
other
out.
one, I watched The Anonymous.
Oh my God,
And then
perfect.
tomorrow I will work out again and I will watch The Challenge.
I love this.
It needs to be reality TV or I like won't watch it. And it can't be Love Island UK because then I have to read
It's harder to
subtitles.
focus.
Yeah, because I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So that's my little small celebration.
Yay, snaps to both of us. Also, share your small celebrations on the Instagram stories. I love seeing them and I'll repost them.
Yeah, and we literally celebrate anything. So
Literally anything.
literally. Okay, do you have news for me?
I do. Because we kind of started this segment last week. If I hear something so random, sometimes I just have to tell you because I need to know what your reaction would be like in the moment. So I like hoarding them and telling you these things. Okay.
I have news too for you, but
Oh my God.
you go first.
Yay. The first one I want to bring up is just a comment because I just feel like this will close the gap for us. That I listened to Lindsay Hubbard on the Toast podcast this week. And I just want to let you know that confirmation that when they filmed Summer House for last season, you know, when we were debating about their confessionals and when they were being done?
Yeah.
Her first confessional was not till 3 weeks after the breakup. They did not film those during the season. She said the first one, she couldn't even make it through. She was like sobbing the whole time. So I don't think they used her first one, but that was all after the breakup.
She did really good.
Right? She was like, it was really hard to pretend she was in love.
She wasn't overly like mean to him either.
No, I felt like we could tell in Carl more so when they mentally had shifted the conversation, I guess. But with Lindsay, it always felt like they were in season.
Someone give her an Emmy.
I know.
Immediately.
Incredible.
I'm so proud of you. Because, like, of the two people to, like, not have control over their emotions, my initial reaction would be, like, Lindsay can't do it. But now, look.
Dude, she's come a long way.
She's capable of anything. Remember when we used to say her therapist literally doesn't work?
Yeah, I thought she needed a new one. She has a great one.
I don't know where she is now, but it's amazing. 10 out of 10 for my girl, Lindsay.
Yeah.
I love her.
This next one is I have a question for you because I have beef with people lately. And by beef and people, I mean society.
Great.
What are your thoughts on people calling a honeymoon a mini moon and then going on a honeymoon like a year later?
Do they go on a week-long vacation somewhere?
For their mini moon, yeah, they'll go on like a 5 to 7 day mini moon, but it'll be in the country and they don't want to call it a honeymoon. So then they call it a mini moon. And then they'll like go to like Europe or something a year later. And I'm like, that's just a vacation at that point. Like normalize just calling a honeymoon right after your wedding. And like the next thing is a trip. It's okay.
My other thing would be like, okay, if you'd want to like take a mini vacation that's not like your honeymoon. Because like, okay, for example, my friend is about to get married in October and her husband is a school teacher, so they can't do their honeymoon till summer. So like if they go on a vacation after their wedding, can't they just call that a vacation? Like
well,
why don't you just call it and one's a honeymoon?
Thank you. And
I don't care which one.
I don't
care
know
when
why
you take your honeymoon.
I feel like there's this like mentality. This is my beef with it. Is I feel like there's this mentality that if you go to like Florida or even like Mexico,
that's not your
it's
honeymoon.
Not a worthy enough honeymoon. And it's like, who the fuck cares? We all like travel all the time now. Like just go on cool trips. And like, why do we need a honeymoon to be this extravagant, chaotic trip?
That's really true. In 2024, the ability we have to travel internationally is way like compared to my parents is so
Yes.
different. So like, yeah, when they took their honeymoon to like the Bahamas, that's a crazy trip for them. I, without like being engaged or married, have already been to the Bahamas. I've been to Europe multiple times.
Yeah.
I've been to Canada. I've been to Guatemala. Like, I've done all these cool things. And so like, yeah, listen, you get one honeymoon. I don't care if you take it 30 days, 30 years. Yeah, I don't care when you take it, but you get trips and then like a honeymoon.
All my friends are talking about, because I have one friend that got married last fall and they're like, oh, we're going on our honeymoon. We can't. I'm like, you did a trip. And then I have one that just got married and they're like, that's not our honeymoon. I'm like, babe, you're going on a trip next year. Let's just call it what it is.
That's fine. If you don't want to call, fine, but a mini moon.
I hate the term mini moon.
That's
I have
crazy.
beef with it.
It might grow on you because I used to hate the term baby moon.
I hate
but
baby
now
moons
I don't
if
care.
you're going with like all your friends. Stupid. You need a
You know what?
bachelorette for you having a baby.
Here's my thing to everyone. I don't give a fuck if it's your honeymoon, if it's a trip. I'm going to like the picture and I'm going to move on. I think that's the other thing is I don't care if it's your honeymoon. To me, you're just on a trip.
That's what it is. I feel like
So,
we
like,
need to like brand. I feel like it's an
who are you
exclusivity
justifying
like
this
tag
for?
to put it on. Like just go on
But
a trip.
Who are you justifying? Like, what? You have to post like, this is my mini moon and this is my honeymoon.
Yes.
I don't care either way. I'm going to like your Instagram picture and I'm not going to ask you about how it went. I'm just going to go, how was your trip? Oh, it's my honeymoon actually. No.
That's because people want to talk about it.
Also, if you on your honeymoon don't invite me, I don't care. If I'm not the Stassi to your Katie and Tom,
True.
I don't care that much.
True.
If you invite me, I'll call it whatever the fuck you want me to call it.
You know what I think we should do?
I
think we should take a honeymoon for our podcast and we finally go to LA. Or I guess we could call it a mini moon because we're not leaving the country.
Because we're not, yeah. No. I was going to say, LA is not honeymoon material.
We're finally need to take our mini moon.
We're going to Vanderpump Paris for our honeymoon.
Put Paris, though, and we'll just call it Vanderpump Paris.
Yeah, it's when they open Vanderpump Paris in Paris. That's where we'll go.
Opens a restaurant in the Eiffel Tower, finally.
You know what we should do for our honeymoon? We should exactly that. Just like copy Tom and Katie's honeymoon.
Oh my God.
And then go on it.
And I want a fat head of Stassi's head.
Because Stassi's the only one that could come with us on a honeymoon. Yeah. Perfect. So that's our honeymoon. And then we have our mini moon planned.
Yeah.
Should we also, without getting pregnant, do a baby moon?
I think we should just take trips and call them weird names that other like couples take.
But they all end in moon?
Yeah.
Like a noun and then moon.
Yes.
We go on a cabbage moon.
When we buy our house, a little house moon.
A house moon. We could do picture moon. We should have done that when we took all of our cool, cute pics together.
God.
Yeah, just whatever we're doing and then moon it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I love this. We should go on a TV moon.
I love.
A movie moon.
A movie moon.
I'm obsessed. Next time I have my friends over for movie night, I'm just going to go, this is our movie moon. Actually, so funny story. My friend and I in high school, there were these two other girls. They annoyed the hell out of us.
Mm-hmm.
They would always look at each other and go, "Hi, sissy." Like they called each other that. They were just friends, and we hated it so much. We would make fun of them, and we called each other twinny. Like we're twins, and you guys are sissies. We're twinnies, but it fucking caught on a little, and we actually started. I'd be like, "Hi, twinny," and then be like,
"You're like I normalized it."
I normalized it. So I feel like that's what all these moons are going to be.
I'm terrified because if I ever get married, now I'm going to be like, I'm having a mini moon.
But that's the thing. If I had a twin, I could never call them twinny.
No.
If you could actually never go on a honeymoon with your partner.
No.
You would be like, this is a trip because the honeymoons are just for me and Alicia.
My post-wedding trip.
Yeah. This is a trip I'm going on. I just happen to be married now.
I get married and the guy's like, no, we're going on a honeymoon. And I'm like, it's not a honeymoon. Alicia's not coming.
Yeah. That's the thing is now we're going to normalize moons to us. Ooh.
Ooh.
Well, wait, on this subject of your thoughts, I saw this clip and I've gotten in fights before about it. And we've probably gotten fights about it on this podcast, but I don't remember. So, you have your bed.
Yes.
And then you have your fitted sheet.
I
Then there's
know
a
where you're
top
going because I
sheet.
accidentally saw your note. Yes. No, I
Do
don't have a top sheet.
you use the top sheet?
I
I don't use
I don't
a top
even
sheet
own
either.
them.
I throw them away.
I leave them, or I take them to my parents' house in St. Louis, and there is a drawer of just top sheets for the sheets for my bed here, and or I only buy the top sheet when possible.
When will you ever need
I'm sorry,
a top sheet?
not the top sheet. So sorry, the fitted sheet.
Oh,
I try to avoid top sheets. I have fitted sheets.
Because what happens when you put them on your bed?
They go to the very end where my feet are.
End. I kick them right on off.
You know what? I do love them at a hotel, but I don't want to deal with it.
I'll still kick it. At the hotel, it ends up kicked in my... It's like my body knows I don't want to be covered with this. I would rather sleep in my comforter and then wash it a million times.
Same. Do people not do that?
People use top sheets because then the argument for them is what happens if you get too hot?
Stick my leg out.
Oh, that's crazy.
You don't put your leg, like one leg in and one leg out?
My toes must at all times be curled under the blanket.
Oh.
Like I'll put my arms out, but my toes must always be like curled with the blanket. Like my feet always, the comforter is always under my feet in some way.
Oh, you like tuck, okay.
I tuck the comforter under my feet no matter which way I'm moving.
Okay.
Or laying. Because if
that makes the top sheet more irrelevant for you specifically.
Yeah. So that's why I'd always kick it. And then I pull the thing. And I figured this out in high school. And my mom was like, why is the top sheet always at the bottom of your thing, of your bed? I love to taco myself in my comforter. Oh. So I'm wrapped. If it's the perfect degree.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm wrapped like a taco. So my feet, but I've learned I don't need to taco, but my feet always need to be under the comforter. Or the comforter always needs to be under my feet, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just me. But some people are like, if it gets too hot, and I'm like, I'd rather sweat directly on that comforter than have just a top sheet. That thing's too light. It feels like nothing's on me.
I feel like I'm the opposite. If I'm hot, I need it up top. I like to hold on to it.
Oh, you like to
So
curls?
I could have my feet out. If I need to have a body part out, it's my legs. I need it up. What happens if the night ghouls grab your foot? What? That is something I do think about, but there are sacrifices that have to be made.
Would you isn't a top sheet just too light for you? Like it just doesn't do the same covering.
Well, I would never sleep with just a top sheet. That doesn't give me the satisfying blanket feel. No, I would rather literally have just a corner across the top of my body and nothing on me than use a top sheet. I'm not joking.
I love that. No, I support that. This would have been a lot more interesting if you were a top sheet person, but because we're both fitted sheet persons.
Also, why do I want to do more laundry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to say this then. We're right. 2 out of 2 test subjects here.
That's the data analysis I believe in.
Exactly. Okay, what else you got for me?
This is my last one, and this is a really complex thing if you never heard of it, but it's a super niche Reddit thing, and I'm so curious if you
I love Reddit.
Have heard about this, but they've solved a mystery. Have you ever heard of celebrity number 6?
No.
Okay. There is, I believe it's wallpaper, but it's some type of design that was created, but for the sake of argument, it's wallpaper. So a designer in like Sweden created this wallpaper out of these celebrity heads. Obviously this is illegal in the US, but it happened. It was 6 celebrities, but 7 pictures. There's a duplicate celebrity, but 7 pictures. So they make this wallpaper, it gets sold, whatever, and a Reddit thread gets started because they also like altered the photos where it's like kind of just like outlines of them in a sense. It's like from real photos, but they manipulated the photos to make this like, pattern. And so there was a Reddit thread about like figuring out who all these celebrities were. And they had 5 out of the 6 celebrities, and they could not figure out who this last image was. So people did a deep dive to find out where these photos came from. So they start finding the exact photos that the artist used, and they kind of narrow it down to a certain area of time. And they find when the catalog was actually printed. So they know the like ceiling on like time of like when these photos could have been created. And so they like figure out a certain range of time, and they are trying to find this sixth person. They found the sixth person, Alicia. They found it. They found the photo. It's insane. But it was like a model in like Spain. It like you would think it would be a more famous celebrity, and they like thought it was certain people, but the photos never matched. And they finally found the person, and somebody posted about it on Reddit, and there is beef on Reddit about this because a moderator is like, you AI generated that photo, this isn't real, and is like trying to say that the person is lying who found it. But like AI can't make photos like that right now. Like it is too detailed. It is down to the hair.
Oh.
That like it matches. So they found it, but this person is mad on Reddit that they weren't the one to find the celebrity.
My God.
I'll send you a video about it because it is like insane. I've been like seeing this on TikTok for the last few months, and then I saw that they found the person, and I literally screamed, "We found celebrity number 6, baby!"
I am like too stunned to speak.
I gave you everything that I've been dealing with for like 5 months in 5 minutes.
Okay. So there's this wallpaper of 6 different celebrities.
Yes.
And someone was like, for fun, let's see who these celebrities are.
Yeah.
And so they found 5.
Yes.
And then they were like, who could the 6th be?
Yeah, it was such a like unknown
and no
person
one knew.
that it like nobody could find photos of like the photo that matched this person.
Oh, so it was just like a fun little hunt.
Correct.
I love like a little Easter egg hunt. I love that. Success. Oh my God, what a small celebration. I love that for that person.
I know. Except they got bullied off the internet because this moderator.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Terrible.
Reddit moderators, they're kind of crazy. And I'm like not about it. But you have to like really prove you're not like trolling on Reddit, which I get because like there's so many fake shit out there for like clickbait. So I get it. Like even sometimes when I'm listening to my Am I the Asshole posts or whatever, people are like, is this even real? Because sometimes it sounds so crazy that it's like there's no way.
Are fake.
But wait, you want to know this? Wait, now we're on the subject. So I was listening to Two Hot Takes, which is the Reddit podcast that I frequent when I just need to hear about people's lives that are probably worse than mine. And this was a legitimate post that because it had to get approved by Reddit and the moderators and everything.
Oh my God.
Because it's so crazy. Okay, I'm fully pulling from memory, but basically it was like an Ask Me Anything.
Okay.
From he's now a man, but he was saying that he's working with a professor at like a college because growing up, he had a sexual relationship with his mother.
Oh.
But like it wasn't harmful to him. So like a professor was doing a study on him and like he couldn't give away too much personal information because this person couldn't be identified.
How is that not harmful to him?
Okay, so the story is that when he was like an early teenager, it's like 13, 14-ish, he somehow broke both his arms, and his parents were like, and his older sister were like, doing the best they could as far as like taking care of him. But he would get immensely like frustrated with stuff.
I think I know where you're going.
And so they were like,
no.
He needs to release himself.
No.
And the mom was like, I'll do it.
And I'm not joking. I think it would be less weird if they like hired a prostitute for this, a sex worker. Like,
yeah.
Your mom?
I had a sexual relationship with my mom and it wasn't harmful. Yeah, it was something like that. I want to find the exact.
I'm sorry. No matter what the reason is for why I need this, my parent, because I can't even say it because I can't envision this type of stuff, that is harmful to my psyche. That is harmful to anybody's psyche.
Okay, I found it. I had a sexual relationship with my mother. I think we would both categorize the experience as positive. Please feel free to ask me anything.
We would both categorize it as positive.
Yeah, recently they spoke to a researcher that is studying the example of incest that was not traumatic. He's preparing a paper on the subject. I'm not an advocate for incest for whatever reason, it worked for us. Don't use my experience as a template. So
Don't use it as a template.
He was
Jesus.
14. She was 37. He had an older sister that was unaware and not involved. Dad knew about it from the beginning and supported mom's decision. It ended around college. So it went from 14 to 18.
Whoa. For a minute, I thought it was going to be like 6 months with the broken arms, you know? But
No,
like,
it went on for years.
why do you need to do it for years? You could have had me if you just said it was because of the broken arms and it was going to be a temporary solution to like a chaotic time. Maybe you could have had me. But years?
Yep. It's yeah.
Like,
and
I
then
need a shower. I feel gross.
People asked a ton of questions. Okay, here. So the
this I like can't. My brain cannot.
So this is like one of those crazy Reddit stories that you're like, is it fake? But it got super like the researcher had to like approve that this was real.
Oh my god.
So the first time we had
oh my god.
Okay, I'm not reading.
Please don't. Everybody go to Reddit yourself. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's so funny because the way he probably like the way it's written is just very like matter of factly because people genuinely ask questions.
Yeah, trying to understand it, but like
the person with the most upvotes was like, how was the first time you had sex with her? Do you remember what was going through your mind?
Was it sex or was it like oral?
It started out not sex.
And you're telling me he slept with his mom?
It built. But if I remember correctly, I'm obviously not doing my homework. Two hot takes did their homework. If I remember correctly, Dad either wasn't around when it happened.
I would hope not. That would just add another layer.
Or didn't know how like far it went.
He was in for the handies when son like broke his arms and was like, you need some help, but didn't realize his wife was banging his son.
Yeah. Something like that.
This is just psychotic.
She never threatened or rewarded with sex. There was no jealousy like when he started dating. No close calls of people almost touching them like his sister. And no dates. It wasn't a romantic relationship.
That confuses me a little bit more, I'm going to be honest. Because I can't even say you're sick in the head, you know? Like you're normal and you're doing this?
I don't. That's how I feel. So yeah, that's a Reddit story that did not get taken down because it was verified by those moderators. When I tell you I'm sick in the head because I love Reddit stories where it's so fucked up. I'm gonna think about it forever.
I think that's easier for my brain to handle because it's like, all right, there's something wrong with you.
This is still fucked up. There's obviously something wrong with both of you. Because listen, my parents would never be like.
I gotta stop talking about this in relation to thinking about my parents. Like it's freaking me out.
Okay, as a parent,
because I'm envisioning
I would
things.
never do this.
Gross.
I would be like, deal with your frustrations. Go to yoga.
Rather
like, there's so many.
Go to yoga. I'd rather hire somebody to sleep with my son than to do it myself.
I would literally be like, call someone in your class to come over and give you a handy. Call it a day.
That's the thing.
Like, I would support 14-year-olds.
I would happily be my son's wingman to have some chick sleep with him. Or girl or guy. I don't care.
I don't care.
Not me.
No. So I think the mother was a little more sick in the head.
Yeah, it seems like she offered this up just to like general frustrations her son was having, was like, I can be your solution.
Because I'm not going to read it, but I did skim it. The mother was the one that initiated intercourse.
Oh my God.
Obviously, this kid's 14. He was like, don't you think it's kind of uncool though to sleep with your mom? Wouldn't you think? He'd be like, we're all embarrassed by our parents. Like, how embarrassing to sleep with your mom.
Do you think he lied about it and was just saying he was like having sex with just like someone and was like, I'm not going to tell you who?
No, I think he didn't tell anyone. I think he was like going to school going, I'm a virgin.
The only
I'm a
time being a
virgin.
virgin's cool is when it's one step above
Your
sleeping with
secret
your
is you're
mom.
fucking with your yeah, because fucking your mom is super uncool.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I love sharing super fucked up Reddit stories that I hear and I'm like, ooh, because it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
you're
right.
welcome.
Tell me what you're reading, watching, and listening. I need a palate
Oh,
cleanser.
okay, this is a good one. We're really gonna full 180
Full
right
factory
here.
reset, please.
Wow. Okay, so I'm reading a book called Everything I Know About Love, and I'm almost done with it. I would have finished it sooner, but my Kindle had a full meltdown one day and
I
wouldn't
saw you
work.
say that in your book club chat. What a annoying little thing.
Yeah, it was really stupid, actually.
Tell me about it, though.
But this book is a memoir, which I normally don't really like memoirs, but my one friend said it's like one of her favorite books. So I was like, whatever, I'll read it. The problem with memoirs is you can't really binge them. You do like a chapter and you're like, that was really good. And then
You kind of need to
it's not like a
sit with
story.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But listen, I've cried multiple times reading this book because it is like forcing me to live out everything I know about myself, but through the eyes of like someone else doing the same thing.
Really?
So basically it's about this girl, right? And she's writing it as a 28-year-old woman.
Okay.
And she's sharing all her like stages of life and what she's like learned about love, right? So like as a kid, she talks about how she was really boy crazy, but she went to this like all girl private school. She's also in London. Like, so it's not like different, but it's a little different as far as cultural norms.
Mm-hmm.
But so that, and then she's talking about how like on AIM she got really used to talking to strangers, so like our generation, that's why online dating isn't like weird, and how it would always be like, because I did this too, it was so weird to relive, where you would like, your friend would be like, oh, I know this boy, and just give you his screen name or his number, and then you would text him. And she was like, so I built all these like
online, but you didn't have to confront people like in person. You could just always have an online, and then you could also just like stop it at any time.
Yes. And then she talks about how like she always really wanted to grow up and be an adult, and like she talks about how her and her friends would then like drink at a really young age and smoke at a really young age, but also in Europe you just do that naturally a little younger.
Like the legal part of it is 3 years prior to the US,
it's taken away.
Yeah.
But she would talk about like then her college years, her really drunk years of just like getting drunk, like hooking up, like not finding meaningful relationships, then getting in her first one, and how that like shaped her, and how she like molded herself into what like the man wanted. And then it was like she couldn't have another relationship and she thought she was really happy, but then it ended up being really unhappy. And then she talks about how her best friend, like she set her best friend up on like a date, her best friend wasn't looking for love, they end up dating, and she's mad at her friend and this man
for like being happy,
like, yeah, like 22, you set this guy up with your friend, and you're like, oh, she like was like, it's my fault I lost my friend. And obviously I think at 22 it's also hard if you get into a serious relationship to know how to balance your friend with your relationship.
True.
So she like, I don't want to say hated her friend, but like
she like had some resentments.
There was tons of resentment. So dealing with that, dealing with like not liking her friend's partner, but then having to like, but loving your friend so much and having to deal with that. And then like hardships with death and like what that means, whether like, it's very beautiful. And I'm not spoiling it because I recommend everyone go read this book.
This sounds really interesting, especially because she's our age.
Yeah. And I'm at the end now, and she's very much just like, at one point she's talking to her best friend, right? And she's like, I don't know how you find love so easily. Like, I just seem to like not be able to do it and like be in relationships. And she goes, what are you talking about? We've been in a relationship for 20 years. You've been the love of like my life. God. And she like that conversation reframed the way she looks at love, and how now she was like, she kept chasing this unattainable thing of like the first
the idea
3 months.
Of like it's like the idea of like the Disney version of love that I think a lot of us were conditioned to like think of.
Yeah, she says she confused like intensity with intimacy, and like her favorite part of a relationship, and it's also mine is like the first 3 months of like texting and like getting
Yeah.
butterflies and not knowing. Whereas her friend who like gets in long-term relationships, her favorite part of a relationship is when you like are so comfortable with each other. That's the person you see all the time. That's the person you wake up to and go to sleep to.
And it's
And
hard
like
to get
that's
to the
terrifying.
second version when you fall in love with the intensity. And so
Yeah.
like once that goes away, it's like you never get to the comfortability because you like are over it or you want out.
Yeah, exactly. And her friend who gets like comfortable in these relationships, she is just like more stable and more committed. Whereas this girl that's writing it is like, that's actually my nightmare is to be stuck in a car with you on a road trip. Like, what are we going to talk about? And that's how
It's
I am.
yeah.
And her whole reframe, and then like moving out on her own, and like all her friends have boyfriends and are moving in with them, but she's like, I'm gonna fall in love with myself. And it's like, it's such a beautiful story. I'm leaving out even the part that like my jaw dropped at,
Yeah, because you gotta like leave something for those
but
who read it.
it's been so beautiful. And when I tell you I cried, this
I
one
love
part in particular,
that.
I texted my best friend Allie when I read the part where it was like her and her best friend have finally like figured their relationship out with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And her best friend goes, can we prioritize like living near each other? Because she goes like, that is truly like this, I want to prioritize us being close always, and like
Yeah.
I don't care who my partner is, I just want to make sure you're there. And she was like, I would be honored to be that person. So I texted my friend and I was like, can we make this a priority, because it's her favorite book. So she was like,
Wait, that's even
she obviously said yes.
cuter.
Her husband, I'm sure, is like Jesus,
Well, I
but
can't wait because then I get a benefit from that
I
too.
move back to Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless I convince them to move to New
Wait,
York.
so no, well, temporarily, but we all have to decide because we're now in a little triangle here
That's
of
true.
friendship. Um, we oh wait, you just made me lose my train of thought. But Yeston in New York for a short term, Chicago forever. But my question for you is, do you think it's because you're obviously like thinking about your own life and like really all relationships, do you think that this will change like how you interact both in friendships? I feel like friendships, yes, because that's a little bit easier to apply, but like in dating?
Well, I'm really good at keeping like long-term friendships.
Yeah.
I think what she wrote about too was like, as you get older, you just naturally kind of look to see like, oh, like where's like does the man have a ring on his finger? Like you just like naturally kind of look. She goes like,
Yeah.
even when I say I'm not looking, I go out and I go like, where are the cute boys? Like
Yeah,
you just
I struggle
automatically
with
kind of
that.
look. I do too. And she's like, I've had to relearn like how to reframe and be like, I'm actually not, like, she talks about how she used to like stay out later than she wanted to because like the possibility of meeting someone is right around the corner. And
Oh
now
my
she's like, I'm
God.
going to go home when I want to go home, because she's put her faith in like whatever's supposed to happen to me will happen. And I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I want to be happy. And we'll just go from there.
It's kind of also like just being in relationship, not a relationship. So
Yeah.
like you don't go out looking for the one. It's like, no, it's great to have guy friends and girlfriends, and there
Yeah.
could be like a romantic side of it, but just being in relation in general to people is more of the
Yeah.
priority.
Yeah, it's just like it's really a really cute story. So
I
it will
love
take a lot for me to
that.
like refrain, because even when I say like I'm not looking for a dude, I'm always kind of looking. And so I like kind of need to refrain that. But I still have like 10% left in the book, and I'm so scared it's going to end with, and then when I least expected it, I found someone, and I'm going to go, ah, I
I get
hate when
that.
people say that to me. So I'm really scared that's how it's going to end. I don't think it will.
I hope not. I had a book like that.
Because, geez, like when I tell you my number, if I'm ever talking to one of my friends, mainly when they're in a relationship, and I'm like, oh, why can't I meet someone? They go, you will when you least
It'll
expect it. Bitch, I'm
happen.
always expecting it now because I'm least expecting it never. So what? So I don't want her to be like, when I least expected it, it happened. Like I would actually
I hope
throw.
she doesn't. I read a book called What I Was Doing While You Were Breeding, and it was about how all of this girl's friends were like settling
Oh, when you were
down.
breeding.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. For a second, I was like, ooh, but I get it.
And she was like in her travel era, and I read it while I was like
Yeah.
working remote and traveling, and I was like, I love this. And at the end, she like found someone, and I was like, okay, no, I thought
Yeah.
and she met him like later in life, and so I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the same age as the like author of this book because that would stress me out more. But like, this was supposed to be just like, hey, we're single, fun, doing our own thing. Not like,
Yeah.
hey, we're single, fun, doing our own thing. Don't worry, you're about to find somebody.
I would rather her end it at 28 and be like, I am just me,
That's
than
the thing.
end it with, now I'm 45 and I finally met someone. I don't care.
You
No,
can meet someone, just don't end the book that way.
don't end the book that way.
It's not about that.
This reminds me of, I saw the musical Company. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So it's basically this girl on her 30th birthday, and she's like, fuck, I'm single. All my friends are in relationships. Like, and she kind of celebrates her birthday alone. And she's like, is this like the rest of my life? So the whole first half of the musical is her like dating and like it not working out, and then like watching her friends get married and have kids and do all these things. And then the second half of the musical is literally like her friends getting divorced, her friends unhappy, her friend, like all the bad things that could happen when you like open up to a person.
Yeah.
And so then it like for the future, so then it comes back to her on her 30th birthday and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna choose to like be happy with where I am and be happy for my friends, because then she felt like depressed for like resenting her friends for all this stuff because of what all the bad things that happen in the future. So that
like,
was
well,
like,
it just gives perspective. Like you may envy their timeline right now,
yeah,
but like
things
their
can change
timeline in the
an
future,
instant.
yeah, like may not be the path you would have wanted to walk. So it's always the grass is always greener on the other side. You like,
Yeah.
you never know what's gonna happen.
And like obviously I'm not, but like there are some people who get divorced who I'm sure like I wish I had just stayed single. And then there are single people who are like I wish I had the chance to get married to even get divorced. Like you'll just never be happy totally with where you are, so you just like
that's true.
must. Like I even hate when my friends who are taken are like, I wish I could be on the like I wish I had a chance to be on the dating apps. And it's like, no you don't, but also I get to bond with people about shit that you'll never understand.
Yeah.
And so like maybe in a weird way you do wish you had that weird chance to like date, or like okay, you might be in love with someone from your high school or hometown and that's great, but like do they ever regret not meeting other people and seeing what else is out there?
Yeah, you like
Like,
if you've
you
been with
just
your high
don't
school
know.
sweetheart forever, you never got that chance to like be wild, young, and single, and like,
Yeah.
you know, like choosing one version of life means inevitably means you do not have experiences in the other.
Yeah. So it could go either way, but I'm trying to change my mindset. I really always do look at the ring though, and then I'm like,
I know.
I gotta stop doing it.
I think if you set a time limit on yourself, it helps because you're like, oh, I'm in this version where I'm not doing that. And then it'll naturally just set in and like it'll become a habit.
I guess.
Because
I think
I
too,
this year said I wasn't gonna date, and it is not my focus when I'm with people. There are a few people just because I'd met them prior that I think, and whenever I see them, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're up to. But in a general sense, when I walk into a room these days, I don't think about it as much.
yeah, I think I've done an okay job, but like even when I went, I think it's other people too. I have to like really set boundaries. Like when I was going to Italy, my mom would be like, "Oh, isn't that waiter cute?" And like I had a strict this whole summer. I was like, "No dating."
Yeah.
But everywhere I went, someone would be like, "Oh, what about that? What about this? What like go hit on that guy?" And I'd be like, "No, I'm literally just existing." So then I get in my head, I'm like, "Should I go hit on that guy? Do we think he's married?
It
Like
calls
how
it
many
to the
single
top
guys are
of your
in here?"
brain.
Yeah, so I also just need to be like, we're not doing this.
I like that. I need to tell my like extended cousins that I don't really talk to, like, stop asking me. Also, like, I
Yeah.
would not tell you. We are not that close.
I literally know
Leave me
nothing about my
alone.
life. Let's do that. Okay, but I'm going to go through my watching because Meredith and mine are just going to be quick bullet points, basically. So I binge watched Selling Sunset.
What'd you think?
These women suck. I don't know why I'm even watching. I did pull in my mom though, because I watched it with her a little bit, and she was like, what is happening here? And I was like, no, really. But basically the big drama was, did you watch last season?
I think so. Is that whenever they went to like Palm Springs and that new girl, Nicole, and like Chriselle have beef?
Yeah.
And like Nicole is a
Yes.
like try
Nicole's
hard to be on this
crazy.
show.
Yeah, basically though, I'm only interested in one girl and her name's Bree, Nick Cannon's
Baby mama.
baby mama. But basically I really like Bree, and last season this girl Chelsea, she fully like shit on Bree's family and was
Yeah.
like, the family dynamic you have is disgusting.
Which is like
And so,
so insane.
which is rude. And so her and Chelsea were beefing, but then Bree found out that Chelsea's husband's actually cheating on her. And then she told she told Chelsea on camera, but
Wait,
did
I
it in a
love that.
better way than I would have.
I love that because like we're not friends and you dragged my family, like
Yeah.
rules are rules.
But Bree said straight up, she's like, look, I'm not telling you this to drag your family. I'm not doing this to embarrass you. I genuinely, like, woman to woman, want you to know of what I've heard. And if whatever you decide to do with it, I respect.
Love that.
And she told her, but then Chelsea was like, I don't know Bree's intentions, because she brought it up on camera. And then Chriselle and Emma were like, yeah, fucking fuck Bree. Well, Chriselle was a little nicer about it.
I hate when people do that shit where it's like, well, you shouldn't have done it. Okay, I think apologies should be off camera and on camera. Like, I do think it's genuine when you like put an apology, you know, off camera. But we are filming a goddamn TV show. We want it interesting. She's doing her job.
Yeah, so Chriselle was better where she like asked for both sides. Bree basically was totally offended. She's like, I did this in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
But then we found out that Bree actually did tell Chriselle and Emma and Chelsea about what she heard off camera.
So they could have
So the
told
fact
her
that they're mad is crazy.
Oh my god.
Well, no, Chelsea knew, and
I know, but like wait, you said
Chelsea's getting cheated on.
Yes, and
Chriselle and Emma are her best friends.
Yes,
Bree told all three of them
off camera.
Okay, and then on camera.
I thought you
happened.
I didn't hear the Chelsea heard it off camera part.
Yeah.
No, you're good. I just knew Chriselle and Emma, obviously. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm tracking.
So then they all pretend to be mad. Listen, nothing Bree does could make me hate her.
This show is way overproduced. I'm sorry, but that's bogus.
Yeah. Then there was also the drama with Nicole, because then Emma's all mad at Bree for like Emma holds very dearly that like marriages are sacred, and how could Bree do this to ruin a family? But then Nicole was like, that's rich coming from Emma because I hear she's sleeping with a married man. And I went, I hope that's true, because Emma bugged the shit out of me this season. So I don't know, but here's hoping that they get canceled, truly but surely. Okay, what else am I watching? Oh, I watched The Challenge.
Okay.
Can I spoil it?
Oh, go off. I'll probably watch it in like 6 months, so spoil away.
Okay, I'm gonna spoil it. So I have an issue with The Challenge.
You're very up and down with The Challenge.
We're only going to talk about the elimination, because the elimination happens. It's this game where basically you throw this ball up into this contraption and it rolls down, and you have to pick up like jacks to put into a wall before the ball hits the ground. So you have to pick them up.
I heard about this controversy.
I'm so mad about this. So the boys' elimination is Derek K from way back in the day, Era 1. I love him. But then Horacio in Era 4, who I'm obsessed with.
He was part of the love story.
He's part of the love story, and he's so hot. And then, so I'm torn, right? I don't know what's going to happen. While they're doing the elimination, Derek's a little faster than Horacio, and he just, he played basketball. He's got a little more like agility to him.
Yeah.
He, though, trying to get the ball, runs into his
wall
pegboard, and the pegs fall out, right?
Yeah.
So this gives, I would think, Horacio a leg up. So they're down to like the final peg, and they both throw the ball up, and they're like catching, and it looks like they both stick the peg in at the same time. Obviously, I understand produced, but yeah, it looks like it. And the clip they showed of Derek, he's missing the peg in the corner.
In the top right. This is what I saw.
Top right corner. And Horacio has them all in. So then we find out that Derek won the elimination, to which I go, he was missing a full ass peg. How did that happen? Because no one clapped when they finished. So I figured it was kind of a close race, and they were like, who really won? So then I'm like, what the fuck? How did Derek win? So I go down a full rabbit hole. And Nerese, Horacio's girlfriend, and Horacio, and a lot of other people have like spoken out about it. Basically, when Derek knocked over his board, production told him to just keep going, and they put the pins back or the jacks back into the board for him. Yep. Because you would think Horacio, who didn't drop a jack, would have been ahead.
Had some time to catch up.
Yeah. So that I'm pissed about. Then production basically said, like, as long as it was in, the jack
On the
was
board,
in, at
right?
some point, even if it fell out, you could still win, which was crazy because Horacio was like, the rules we were told were the jacks had to be in the hole.
And I've heard the people watching have said, and this is not just this one, but like they give you the rules away from the group. So by the time the people competing in the elimination are playing it, the people watching are asking for the rules while they're starting to figure out how to help them and strategize. Yeah. So then like the rules aren't clear to the people even watching.
No. And I mean, Love Island did this where they told people two different sets of rules. So my other thing is, it's a little bit
different when it's like a dating show versus
an actual competition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then my other thing is like, okay, so it just had to be in at some point. It doesn't matter if it's in and then falls out. That's kind of crazy, I would think. And then I think it was just production wanted Derek to stay. So they like helped overproduced this. But this just seems so dumb.
But even if you didn't expect that the game would go that way, like it accidentally happened and you didn't plan for the pigs to fall out during the competition, so you don't really have a rule on that. I just feel like it would have been said after the fact, so like everybody in the cast understands what happened and is on the same page.
Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And I'm a big advocate to like, the challenge is its own sport. Like the rules are at the what am I trying to say? Like at the mercy of production. But your rules should be clear to both competitors, and
it should be consistent.
I don't believe production should step in once the game has started. Like once it has started, whatever the rules you gave, that's what stands.
And like I said, if like this accidentally happened because you didn't plan for it, then you got to shout at them like, if something falls out, it's on you, and like
put it back.
New rule in place. But you're right, production should not be involved.
I don't think you should be stepping in to help him like re-peg his board. I don't think you should like. The rules are put the jacks in the hole.
Yeah. So if they
me, even if you just said that one rule, I'm thinking by the time I finish, all the jacks have to be in the board. There you go.
But I've heard that Derek has come out and said they have to be on the board, and Horacio has said the peg has to be in. So in and on are two different rules that they're like asking out. And nobody who watched knows because they don't get to know the rules. And the rules I've heard are filmed, but they are never aired. So I'm like, release the tapes.
They dub over the rules with TJ's voice after the fact. So that also sucks. I just think, I don't think production should chime in. I understand sometimes there are loopholes that people find, and I'm all for that. Like, find the loophole. But I think in this scenario, like, on the board, where was this peg then? Like,
I don't know.
That's the thing. Like, they had a similar elimination, like, years ago. It was Laurel versus, like, Natalie Ninja or whatever. And you had to put these pegs in the tree trunk or whatever in, like, the little holes. Laurel couldn't find the last hole, so she just stuck it in a random crack.
Yeah.
And she went, you got to make do what you make do. And they sent Laurel home for that, which I was like, yeah, but like that wasn't the rule. This is similar to that. Oh, your peg's on the board, but not in it. Like, that's crazy.
That's so true. The intention of the game was not followed.
That's the thing, is like, even if you said on or in, it means the same thing to me. Put it in the hole.
There was a very clear intention of where the peg was supposed to go for both Laurel and Derek in both eliminations. And if you can't find it or you can't do it, then like, that something's wrong.
That's on you. Yeah, figure it out. And but like, find the hole.
They set the expectation with Laurel that it's like, you need to follow it by the book. And I'm sure there's been other games where you need to follow it by the book.
Yeah. There are some games you can find a loophole for, like work smarter, not harder, but you can't just...
A peg in a hole is pretty clear.
Production called that one wrong, so I'm pissed. Yeah. and I miss Horacio. And he has since said he's never going to be on the challenge again.
I wouldn't trust them. They do play favorites really easily.
Yeah, but fuck that. What else am I watching? Oh, really quick before we get to the Anonymous. I've been watching the Vampire Diaries. You laugh. Okay, so basically
I saw some all caps. I don't read your notes, but I saw some all caps, and I was like, "Oh man!"
I've only watched 2 episodes because, again, I get
It's
so
a traumatic
mad.
experience
I
for
get
you
so
at this
mad.
point.
Basically, Stefan shows up at Caroline's door unannounced and goes, "Hey, my ex-girlfriend, who I thought was dead, is actually a vampire. No one can die in the show ever. I'm so annoyed." And he goes, "I need you to babysit her." And Caroline goes, "What?" But she does, because she's a good friend and she does that.
And she's
And
good at babysitting new vampires, and how dare you take advantage of her for that?
And she does. She like sees him and melts, and he says something to her like, "Thank you, you're such a good friend," and leaves.
Yeah.
And she longs for him, and I'm dying inside. And so they all go to this like party in a corn maze or something. The professors also go. Like Alaric is there, and like another professor.
If there's one thing we know, there will be no parents around, but the parental figures and teachers are way too involved in these types of shows.
Like, why are we partying in a corn maze with college kids? But it's a good thing they did, because Tyler hits Stefan's ex-girlfriend who got loose from Caroline.
Oh no.
But like in an attempt to swerve. I don't remember. Or it was someone
hits her with a car. Hits the girl.
Hits. So the ex-girlfriend gets loose from Caroline.
Yep.
Feeds on someone but doesn't know how to compel them to forget.
Yeah.
And this kid runs into the street. Tyler tries to swerve him but hits him, and then ends up plowing everyone down in this cornfield.
How many people are dead?
Well, if Tyler kills one person, he becomes a werewolf again. So
he's not a werewolf anymore? I forgot what happened here.
No, he went back to before he activated the gene. You know, when you kill someone, you become a werewolf.
Did he die and then come back to life? And so then his werewolf thing.
Tell you.
The rules of this show.
I'm telling you, this show makes 0 sense. Anyway, he's freaking out about killing a bunch of people. So he calls Elena, and she's like, "Yo, someone just ran over everyone in this cornfield."
He's like, "It's me.
It was me. We can't let them die." Luckily, there are plenty of vampires because their blood heals all.
Oh, God.
But there are also 2 doctors present, one of which is a med student, because Elaine is also a med student. He's here to help, but he's not a vampire. And then the girl Alaric is on a date with is not only a professor, but a doctor.
Incredible.
Ask me later. And so they're like, how are these people who were hit by a car so fine all of a sudden?
And they don't know about vampires. Okay.
It was so stupid. Anyway.
Also, how was Elena in med school? It's been 5 minutes.
She's pre-med, I think. Okay. But she's in the hospital, which is also alarming. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Doesn't matter. Anyway, back to what's important. Stefan and Caroline. It ends up that no one dies. So Tyler's fine.
Thank God for Tyler.
Yeah, some witch helps him. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, we find out Caroline is calling Stefan, right? She's like, "I can't find your ex-girlfriend. Can you fucking come help me? I don't know where you are." And he suddenly appears, and he's like, "How could you lose her?" And Caroline's like, "Oh, I'm sorry.
Why is it my fault?
What the fuck?" And she goes, "Where have you been all day?" And he goes, "I was gonna leave." She goes, "So you were just gonna drop a baby off at our doorstep, basically, and fucking leave me?"
Oh my God.
And then she goes, "You know what, Stefan? We're done. Just leave." And he does. And I went, fuck him. So then we're going to cut to Bonnie and Damon.
Stefan leaves when it gets hard. That's his favorite thing.
When I tell you, I was so mad. I'm so mad. It gets worse. So then Bonnie and Damon, remember, they're dead but not dead.
They're in that in-between zone, right?
Yeah, they figure out a way to leave, but there's also this rando serial killer that's trapped with them.
What the fuck?
So he attacks them while they're trying to leave, and Bonnie only has enough strength to send one of them, so she sacrifices herself for Damon. And my first note from that was, Jeremy is going to be so sad again.
He has lost Bonnie like 7 times.
It can't be good for his psyche. And like,
No.
technically, he's still in high school.
Oh my god.
He's lost his parents, his sister.
You know what? That kid just needs to take the GED and get the fuck out of high school.
I know. So then Damon's back. And I'm like, good, everyone can stop bitching. But no, because Elena has compelled Alaric to take away her memories, so she hates Damon.
Oh my god.
And Damon's immediately captured by the newest vampire hunter.
Oh.
No, there's a new vampire hunter in town.
Oh my god.
Who's Matt's boss? I don't know.
What?
And he's captured with that guy Enzo, who's been round. I don't know. Then, if you go into Mystic Falls, you die if you're a mythical creature.
Because there's that thing around the town, right?
This vampire hunter just drives into Mystic Falls with Damon and Enzo. Smart. So then Stefan and Alaric are there, though.
I remember that happening.
Yeah, to try and save the day. And basically, they all end up fine. The vampire hunter gets away somehow. But Alaric almost dies, but is saved by this doctor teacher who's also a witch. Don't ask.
But she was shocked when the people were like saved after the car crash?
No, she figured it out.
Okay.
But she was still like questioning. She was like,
you know what happens once every episode? Somebody dies or fake dies and comes back to life. Somebody who should already know that there's vampires around figures out that there's vampires around.
I'm surprised it's still a secret at this point.
I mean,
everyone
like,
knows.
This would be on the, like, national news at this point.
Everyone knows. Let's just figure out a way to coexist and be done with it. No, yeah, why are we still fighting each other?
I actually hate that whenever it's, like, supposed to be hidden that vampires are around, and it's like, but they've been around for, like, hundreds of years. Like, come on, people, catch up.
Everyone in power in Mystic Falls knows that vampires are living on the outskirts of Mystic Falls. Like, everyone knows.
Yes. It's okay if, like, the third graders don't know, but, like, why are random adults shocked?
Why are we pretending? Whatever. But Alaric is now human. It's unexplained how that happened.
Okay.
But with that are Elena's memories, because he can't give them back to her, because he, like, compelled her. So she hates Damon still.
Oh my god.
But then Jeremy runs into Damon. As you can imagine, he is like, hey, where's Bonnie? And Damon is like,
hey.
Damon could be a jerk. And he instead said, like, Bonnie found peace. It was just me there. And Jeremy is like, what are you saying? And Damon's like, she's really dead. And Jeremy is so sad. And I get it. But I'd like to say, where's Elena in all this? Your older sister.
She doesn't actually care about her
Elena
friends.
does not care that Bonnie died. No. Does not care her brother's literally so heartbroken for the 20th time.
But when Elena is hurt and needs people, she will expect everybody to come running.
That's my biggest qualm with Elena.
Yeah.
It's all about her. And I'm not. No, it's all about Caroline and then everyone else and then you. That's how I feel.
Yes.
So after all of this, Stefan's like, hey, Caroline.
Oh my god.
Sorry for all that. And she goes, so what do you want? You just want to be like friends? And he's like, yeah, I missed you. I want to be friends. And she goes, well, I don't want to be friends anymore.
Yes.
And she walks away and I went, not even soon enough. Not even soon enough. And it's not even harsh enough. You should have literally said, you are the worst fucking person. I wish you had left and never come back. I hope to never see you again. If you die, I will not shed a tear. If you disappear forever, I will not look for you once. If you call me 1,000,000 times, I will actually destroy my phone before I would pick up.
Damn,
that is
girl.
how much I hate you. And I want nothing to do with you.
Keep it going.
Same goes for Elena. Caroline should do both. Because no one has yet to ask Caroline if she's okay.
Shocking.
And I'm done with it.
Maybe Jeremy and Caroline should be friends. They're both traumatic and pretty supportive people.
Honestly, at this point, I feel bad for Jeremy, which I hated him. So I don't know how we've gotten here. Because I hate everyone else.
I think your hate of Elena and how Elena treats Jeremy propels you into liking Jeremy.
Yeah, it's like, at this point, it's how you treat my characters, right?
Yeah.
Like, even now we're going to see if Damon shows any compassion towards Caroline. And if he doesn't, he's on my shit list too. Check in.
Welcome back. Welcome back, Damon, but you're done.
Somehow I like Damon better than Stefan. I get it now. I get it now.
Well, because who's doing the most destruction to your sweet Caroline?
I get it. Anyway, I watched The Anonymous too. Okay, really quick. I love when people think they know the game and they don't.
That
It's
is
my
pretty
favorite thing.
entertaining. I'm bored because like we already know the strategy. We had a mix up of like bringing in new people.
Meredith,
and I
looked it up. I looked it up though. The way to become the Anonymous is the least amount of people
that know you.
Know you.
Okay, that makes more sense because this episode they were talking a lot about like trying to really throw off the scent. You're right.
And then I think if it's a tie, like if the same amount of people don't know us,
your score,
it's how many people
would tip it over. Right? Okay.
Yes, but it's all about being secret. So I love when they
that makes more sense of why that new girl was the Anonymous from like last week's episode technically.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, how does she know this?
I have to say my favorite part of the show is every time Lightning talks as Andy.
Is that Andy?
and Andy goes, "They'll never know who I am." And everyone goes, "That's Andy." And then when he's not the Anonymous, he's shocked.
I love it.
Then I love in his interviews going, "I think I'm doing," or like when he's alone, he's like, "I'm doing a great job. No one knows who I am."
Alicia, he is so dumb that Danny, the robot, was able to get the hokey pokey out of him, and he had no idea to the very, very end.
It's so funny. Andy is even still here.
He's the guy to keep going because he's not destructive in any way.
He's never gonna win.
He can't get anybody to do anything in the chat or even in person.
Yeah, he's just a pawn. I do wish there was still one person attacking him always and forever. Like I miss that Jack can't do that anymore. I miss football when he would be like, "I'm coming for Andy."
I'm glad they released the whenever who's the girl Robbie who got voted out.
Yeah.
I like that they did have to say both of their icons and people were shook by her being Dice.
Yeah. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Xavier also, I saw the episode. He's just struck. That dude's just.
He thinks he's really doing a big one, and I just don't think he is.
He's struggling a little, but I don't like him.
No.
Sorry, I don't. But you're right. It's kind of the same game over and over again.
Yeah. Especially because we didn't really get, like, I do like when they do a little competition and I liked when they had to throw the balls in, and then if they purposely or accidentally got it in somebody else's, that person didn't win safety. I love that type of struggle of like, do you openly target someone for safety? I like that. In this safety, it was just that same old box, am I safe or not? And they all suck at it.
The only thing I really like, I will ignore the whole show until they're in Anonymous mode. That's when I like really tune in.
Yeah.
Because I love that aspect of it. I think it's so funny.
Me too.
And I know you need the rest to like politic and figure this out and like whatever. I don't care that much about the games.
I want to see more of the Anonymous chat though. Like you can have them spending their time doing that, but like I love them having to think about what they're saying and thinking they're so funny and then hearing other people's comments in their own little booth.
I love when someone's like, "Oh, that has to be so and so," and it is, and then the person who wrote it was like, "It's not even that. No one will know.
Never know."
Like I love when people are so lost. It's so funny. But I do wish they would do an anonymous game like they do in The Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, call out the person you think is most fake, and it'd be like,
oh,
I think Snake is most fake.
Like a little like game night, and like
I want like more beef in Anonymous mode.
That's a good point. I wish they got prompts that they had to answer, because right now they just all collectively have to lead the chat somewhere, and things die really quickly because they're trying to like sway the talk to different people.
My other thing that makes me giggle is when someone like gets called out in the chat and they're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna agree so no one will know that's me." And so like if
that'd
it
be
was
my
like,
first thought.
I read in the chat and it's like, we have to get Alicia out, and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna comment like, yeah, Alicia's the worst," and everyone's like, "That's Alicia," and I'm sitting here like, no one knows it's me. Like that to me is so funny.
I know.
Anyway, I think it's a good show. I'll keep watching it. It's similar to that of like a
I'm
Big Brother
nervous is all I'm gonna
for
say,
me.
because like if it continues how this episode was, it's gonna lose me.
We'll see. I think I also watched next episode and I was interested. So
Oh,
you're fine.
okay.
Yeah, because I have
Okay.
Xfinity, so I do cable.
Look at you.
Okay, Meredith, lead my chat on the Mormon wives.
Let's dive in.
Lead me.
First off, I want to preface this because I just don't think it's known. So for anybody listening who watched the
Okay.
series, episode 1 was a year prior to episode 2 and everything else.
We knew Taylor was humongo.
Correct.
After the first
That's
episode.
really helped me spur into my timeline, because I was like, I knew enough about them and I was like, whoa, full stop here. But I just had to say that because people are like on her as if like that first pregnancy was what spurred into the actual pregnancy. And I was like, no. I want to ask you your thoughts on people rather than going episode to episode, because we got them all at the same time and we're able to binge. I want to first start off with Taylor's mom.
The worst, the villain. I texted you, we have to talk about her. I hate her. Where do you want me to start? The way she treats her daughter, the way she tries to communicate with her daughter, the blunt rudeness to her daughter's partner, who I also hate, but you don't have to, like, you can calm down a little. But then to call Whitney at the baby shower
was weird.
Deranged.
If Whitney like did something where she sent like a present, like a fuck you present, maybe you call her. But like, whoa, she just didn't show up.
I'm a big believer that parents need to stay out of the drama of kids.
It reminds me of Monica from Salt Lake City's mom, who wanted to be on the show so bad.
Yeah.
Taylor's mom, it seems like she wants to be a cast member.
She's psychotic, this woman. But she is so rude to her daughter.
She goes from like episode, I think it was whenever Dakota was moving into the house, being like,
yeah,
I can't believe you're going to be with him. Like, why are you with him? And Taylor's like, I'm pregnant. Like, I need support. And then whenever Taylor and Dakota are fighting, her mom's like, why aren't you marrying him? I'm like, which is it?
I also hated when they sat outside and had that conversation and her mom like had to walk away from her. She was so disgusted with Taylor's life.
Like, your daughter is clearly hurting. She's not okay. Yeah. How about you support her?
Listen, I understand you have your morals and values and like your daughter didn't follow what you believe, but it just seemed really harsh. Also, side note, I understand there's a church in all this. How has the church not kicked these women out?
Okay.
I don't know the rules of LDS.
I think I need to do a deep dive on Mormonism, because whenever I was putting together a timeline for Macy, like how marriage even in the church works. Like you can get like, they have normal, what I'll call normal weddings to us, like, you know, a normal ceremony and a reception, but like you can also do a temple thing. Like, I just think there's layers to it about how Mormon you are. And so the more Mormon you are, the more repercussions I think you would get if you did something wrong.
Okay, because how I'm thinking of it is, in Catholicism, yeah, you're not supposed to get pregnant before married, let's say. Let's go with that. Yeah. You're not supposed to. It's frowned upon. But like,
you would just get side eyes and judgment.
Yeah. I just feel like Mormonism is more of a cult-like religion. Don't get me wrong, Catholicism's a cult. So I just thought there would be more repercussions, but it seems like everyone on this show is having sex and getting pregnant before they're married. Sticking
with the Catholic comparison, because we grew up Catholic. Imagine if, because this is how I view it, and I'm not totally sure, but this is what I think it is imagine if not only did you go to church on Sundays, but then there was this extra, like, say, like cathedrals. Instead of it just being a normal church, it was like an extra layer that you actually had to sit and go to a meeting before you were allowed in to prove that you were worthy of being in this, like, that it's a temple, in the temple. And then, like, there's extra sacraments or things in the temple that, like Taylor, I don't think can go to the temple because she's like fucked it up so much.
So these women are on the outside of...
I think the sinners, because of divorce and scandal, probably would not be allowed in the temple. But I don't even think they try.
Well, is the Macy thing. Got pregnant before she got married.
She is okay in the temple.
Michaela got pregnant before she got
I
married.
think she's okay in the temple. I think it's divorce and cheating are way bigger than teen pregnancies.
Wow, really? Listen, I don't quote me on this because I am not active at all in my own religion, but I feel like in Catholicism, getting pregnant out of wedlock is like the worst.
Divorce definitely is. If you were really
Because we
Catholic,
listen, divorce is terrible, but I feel like getting pregnant out of before getting married is crazy. But you know what Catholicism does support is adultery. Everyone's cheating in that church.
I wouldn't say they
Everyone.
support it, but like I don't think it's as judged as like a teen pregnancy would be.
There's a lot of people out here like praising Jesus and having affairs left and right and is being looked upon.
Yeah, but like
and
I know somebody who got divorced who didn't take communion for a year because they like it was like such a sinful thing.
Yeah, divorce is bad in Catholicism. And I guess in Mormonism too then.
Yeah.
Okay. What if the man cheats?
Then we obviously don't care.
No. I meant in the church. Yeah, in the church they don't care,
no,
right?
I literally think if the men do anything wrong, they're all just like, well,
it's okay.
Like I think they're like, hey, you succumb to the devil, but like we can move past it. Whereas if it's
but the woman
girl,
is the devil.
It's the scarlet letter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Oops. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through. So Taylor's mom sucks.
Yes.
You agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to know about Dakota next. I know you said you don't like him, but I'm curious what your thoughts are on him in general, how the ladies treat him, or like how Taylor's mom interacts with him, Macy.
I wanted to like him the first episode. I did. Yeah. I was like, go off. Then the arrest happened. And I was like, they probably both should be arrested, was my thought.
That's what I was thinking that too.
That was my thought. I was like, I feel like because he was saying it was self-defense, but also Taylor's a small girl, dude. Like, just you could shove her to the ground. She was drunk
during the arrest, and he was sober. So I wonder if that had anything to play into it.
Maybe also, but fine. Because it also sounded like he was throwing stuff at her and like pushing her.
I think he put her in the garage, like pushed her out of the house. She was throwing chairs, and I think either before or after that, he pushed her out of the house at some point.
Okay. I still wanted to like him, but then she got pregnant and I was like, what? It wasn't so much him. It was more of like, why would we do this situation?
By the way, she got pregnant a total of 3 times in their relationship because she would not take birth control because it's against the religion, but they would constantly take Plan B.
This is why I hate religion. Girly, you are getting pregnant left and right out here. Just take the birth control.
Whatever, pregnancy. Whatever. And then she mentioned a chemical pregnancy, which I don't fully understand, but I believe, I didn't want to say this in my TikTok video because I was so scared to be wrong. But how she kind of talked about it, it was like an early miscarriage, but your body kind of still thinks you're pregnant. So your hormones are like insane.
That's what I think.
And then she got like legit pregnant.
Yeah. So basically, just take the birth control and you don't have to tell anyone. No one has to know.
It can be between you and your doctor, babe.
Anyway, wow. Stop taking Plan B. Also, that's going to fuck up your insides.
That's what everybody was saying online. It's like, oh my God.
Birth control does too, but Plan B, wow.
Worse for you.
Yeah, Plan B is not supposed to be contraceptive.
No, why?
It's supposed to be your backup.
I'm just gonna, this is an ad. If you want to get pregnant 3 times, take Plan B. If you don't, go take birth control. Or abstain.
Isn't it crazy in Utah they won't like sell coffee places, but you could get Plan B?
No, speaking of the coffee thing, why are they allowed to drink soda with caffeine, but not coffee with caffeine or tea?
Their teeth are rotting from the inside out. No? A 44 gulp every day?
With like coconut something, whatever crap.
That's crazy.
And then like you're not allowed to smoke weed, but you can do ketamine and like laughing gas for shits and gigs.
Separate. Let me finish about Dakota, and then we gotta hit on ketamine.
Okay.
Anyway, once Dakota and Taylor started fighting, I didn't like the way he spoke to her. It drove me up a wall. And also, you know the person you're getting in a relationship with. If she wants to drink, if she wants to go out, if she wants to have a good time, whatever, he just seems so controlling. And the way he like would speak to her was so rude. And when she would try to like express her emotions, he would turn it around on her. Like she was crying, begging, and like, you can leave, and he still is just berating.
I
I'm
also
Macy in this
saw
situation.
a big
I hate him.
pattern between them where it's like it seemed like she was a very avoidant type where it's like
Yeah.
she has had this whole life chaos go down and I don't think she's healed from it. So
Nope.
then it's just like how can you be in a relationship with someone when you're not okay yourself? And then he seemed also, I mean, on top of all of that, like I'm not trying to say he wasn't that, but I also saw a layer of like an anxious attachment where sometimes he would say like, she would always be like, you just want to be married. And he was like, I want to know you're committed. And then she would be like, you can leave. And I'm like, okay, I think he also just wants to hear like, hey, I'm in this.
I think they jumped into it way too fast.
Me too.
When I tell you I am Macy in this relationship,
Oh my God.
I am telling my friend no. I am hating your man right up front.
I know, but when that conversation between Macy and Dakota then turned into a Taylor Dakota fight, I was like, whoa, you guys are both fucked up.
You guys hate each other. Like, go to therapy. The weirdest part was when Dakota and Macy got in the car and he was like, I'm blaming you. And she goes, great. Like she literally, I would be like, blame me. I will never stop hating you.
I literally think Taylor and Dakota can't admit that they are at fault. So then it like becomes Macy's problem when it's like, Macy is a symptom of the problems you guys are causing.
Yeah, she's just calling it out and bringing it to the top.
I hope Taylor and him are still together. I just hope in the like 9 months since they have filmed or like 5 months that they have like actually sorted their shit out because like I could see them being okay if they actually handle shit.
I hope they watch it. I hope he watches it.
He did. She didn't.
Yeah, because I think that could help, right? Like it wasn't this show, but it was a show. Oh. Jasmine from Martha's Vineyard was talking about how Silas watched season 1 and someone asked, like, does he regret the way he treated you? And she goes, he watched it except for the last episode. He like couldn't, or like the last 2 or something. And she said he is so ashamed by his behavior.
Good.
And his family watched it. And his mom, his sister, and his aunts had some shit to say to him.
Wow.
So I think growth is possible, right? Like
it can be a mirror of your behavior.
We as like normal humans don't have to rewatch our behavior. People on reality TV do.
Well, like
so I think you could change.
Rewrite it in your head based on your own perception, but it like gives you a full playback or like a partial playback. Obviously, editing can play a hand, but a playback of what you said, the tone. But then
the world hates you. Yeah, it's a lot of self-reflection. So I hope he watches it.
Me too. That's what I think is Whitney's problem. Is I think she in her head has written this story on how things went, and then it's like, babe, it's completely different because she has come out since the show. I don't know if you've seen this, but she blamed it on the editing and said like,
down.
Hulu did shit.
That's number one excuse always. Oh, I was edited.
No, but then she pivoted to like, no, it was me setting boundaries, and then she's like, I am the villain, and everybody's like, babe, you can't keep changing what you're deciding this was.
If you want to be the villain, be the villain. But like, oh no. I don't know. It must be all the ketamine getting to her head.
Oh my God.
When I tell you this was the episode I was working out, right? I'm working out. And I hear like, yeah, Whitney told me that when we had just finished our ketamine session. And I stopped. I was in a push-up position and I pushed myself back up and I rewound.
Oh my God.
And went, ketamine?
Yeah. Demi is like... like big fan of it. She that was in her bio.
Who does this?
Demi, like they all pronounce it like Demi, but
Demi? Yeah.
Demi. Oh, that's what it is.
Demi?
I don't know. They like say weird. Can we say Demi? They say it weird.
She says Demi, so I think we have to say Demi.
But yeah, that was in her Hulu bio. The ketamine.
Do they know who uses ketamine? Let me tell you who uses ketamine. My super gay friend on weekends to stay out till 5 a.m. And when I say super gay, I mean like Bushwick gay. Like people in New York will know. It's the Bushwick gays that go to Hell's Kitchen. That's who Not me. I don't use fucking ketamine.
I know.
That's for them.
Tyler on Teen
Holy.
Mom has done it for like therapy sessions. So like I don't know what they're doing. But
What
like
is
I don't
it?
know.
No.
I don't know the dosage. I don't understand. But apparently I don't know.
Ketamine
I don't
is
know enough
therapy? Stop.
In
Because
California, I think.
the only thing I know about ketamine is that my friend will come back and go like, yeah, I was so high off K, I was fucking some dude in an alley. Like that's how I think
I'm
of
gonna say
ketamine.
it's lower doses. It
But
is
that is so
in
funny.
California. I think it is legal when medically supervised, but that's the only way.
What does it do?
I
Just
don't.
open
I don't
your.
know. I don't know.
I would take it.
Uh,
Not with my Bushwick gaze, but like.
But what's terrifying is like Demi said, like it. You're honest when you're coming out of it. So then, like Whitney is like, "Oh yeah, of course I did that for clout," which, like, of course she did. We already all knew that.
Danced in front of her dying baby. Yeah.
Okay, he wasn't dying, but her sick
Well,
child, 2 weeks old. That's the biggest thing that people, I feel like, on that timeline that I made on TikTok, people are like, I didn't realize he was 2 weeks old, and I didn't realize that this happened before
Can
Taylor's
I tell
scandal.
you, before I knew who these women were, this was on my time. I saw this
Was
video
it?
and I went, am I watching something crazy here?
Oh
And
my
I
God.
remember looking at the comments and everyone being like, isn't your baby sick? And I went, I'm going to move on before the algorithm puts me onto this.
I
Because
didn't catch that.
I didn't know we were in mom talk. I thought we were in let's do TikTok dances in front of our kids in the hospital.
No.
I didn't know what algorithm this was.
Nope.
This was the algorithm
I caught on to the Taylor scandal at the tail end.
I knew none of that. This is what I got. I got Whitney in front of her baby in the NICU.
That's horrifying. She is queen of running away, Alicia, because she moves to Hawaii after the swinging / Tinder / Grinder scandal. And then for like 2 months. And then this show becomes a thing. So she runs back to Utah and is like, oh, okay, I'll be back here. And
with
then it
her
gets
gay husband.
And then it gets
flick of the wrist.
Paused because Taylor's arrest, and that's why it took a whole year for them to pick up filming, because they didn't know what to do with Taylor, like, going through something again. So then she moves to California and is like, I'm out of here again. And then now she's gonna like abandon everything in Homestead / leave this show because she can't fucking deal with things.
She's not actually friends with these girls.
No.
I hate Whitney. I think she would be a good TV villain if she would just own up to it. And someone did say, right, like being a villain is very much an art.
Yes.
In the sense that you could be mean and people could take it. Like, in a way, Paige DeSorbo could be a villain of Summer House, as in she will say like things about you in her interview and she will make fun of you, but it is received so well. Like, if we received it differently, she would be the villain, but she's not, because
but I don't think she would have a problem being the villain.
That's the thing, is she's endearing about it and she stands by what she says and she goes, I don't really care if you like me or not. Whitney is like, I need you all to like me, but I say and do shitty things. You should relate to it like you do a Paige DeSorbo-esque type thing.
You know what I think Whitney's problem, this is inside herself, none of us can do, like, it has nothing to do with us, is that she does something and expects a certain reaction out of it.
Yeah.
So when she gets it, fine. When she doesn't, she's pissed. Like leaving the group chat. She wants them to all like fawn over her. And
how come no one called her?
Melts down because that's what her expectation was somebody else's action rather than doing something for herself. Paige makes a comment for herself on Summer House. Like, she's going to say no matter what, whether you like it, don't like it, think it's funny, hates her, she's going to say it no matter what, because that's what she wants to do. Whitney does things for reactions or like to get something from people.
Yeah, and she again has like I wouldn't say it's a victim mentality, but it's similar in the sense of like, everyone will cater to me, everyone will miss me.
Everybody should cater to me.
Everyone loves me, and they don't. And then she's like, what?
How could they not? I didn't do anything wrong.
Can I just say though, that scene where she talks to Taylor and is it Demi comes up and is like, fuck you or whatever, and then Whitney goes and cries in a closet, right? When I tell you, my number one, and I think it's Jesse and Demi is like number one, like pet peeves too, is if you're gonna be a bitch and then act like a whiny child after when people call you out
Yes.
for your bullshit. If you want to square with me, we can square. I'll go all day. But you're not going to hide in a corner and play like victim and, oh, everyone's so
That was
mean to me.
my initial problem with Whitney is like she's saying all this shit and then she says, well, I don't need to tell Taylor.
Not even that. Don't tell Taylor, fine. But when it comes out and blows up in your face, don't act
Run
like
away.
you're the victim and everyone's mean to you. And I was
Yeah.
so happy when both Demi and Jesse were like, you
did
maybe
this.
it was just Demi. I think at that point when she was like, oh, you have like your clan of people catering to you, and stupid Jen was like, you're not getting any you're not doing anything by raising your voice. Bitch, Demi was talking calm to how I would be. Absolutely not.
That's when I fell in love with her and Jesse. I loved them on that trip.
You're not going to do this. You're not going to say shitty things. You're not going to say you don't want to be friends with people and come at us for clout and still use our names to push yourself further.
Yep.
And then when I call you out on that bullshit, you're not going to cry. That's not going to happen. And you're not going to make me the villain, bitch. It's not going to be like, oh, can you be nice? No, I can't be nicer to her. That is my number one pet peeve. If you want to get in the ring, we can get in the ring, but you better be ready.
Listen, I get if like Whitney wants to take a beat and then come back to the conversation. That's fine. But you're not going to sit in a closet with the 8 other people on this show and think I'm not going to come in. And if it's already a discussion, why can't I be a part of it too?
I loved when Demi was like, I'm not going to leave. You guys are talking about me.
Yes.
Why would I leave?
I fully agree. She was like, I need
Show
space.
up.
And it's like, well, then why do you have every other person around you
everyone,
right now?
let's go. Why do you space? Space from what? Oh, I would have shown up.
Oh,
I would have shown up. And with that, I love Demi.
I don't know anymore.
I
had to look it up.
Her.
I had to watch a TikTok right before I made my like cast video.
She was amazing. She's the one married to a 46-year-old, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Angie H's ex-husband from the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. That's amazing. Get all those women on a show together.
Do you know the difference between the cast members now? Like by the end of the series?
Yes.
Do you have them clocked? They did have different storylines once you got to know them, but that first episode, I was like, one of the blonde girls.
If you show me a picture though of Jesse and Demi, I will take a beat though to try and figure out which is which.
That hair color is so similar.
I could get to it though.
Yeah.
Eventually. But I loved her. I liked her husband. I liked their relationship. Who was Fruity Pebbles girl? Was that Jesse or was that Demi?
That's Demi, I think. Yes, because that's why her and Whitney, that's why Demi went up to Whitney and Taylor's conversation on the penthouse trip.
I love that she's exploring her sexuality, and girly is not that big a deal to use some Fruity Pebbles or whatever was she eating the Fruity Pebbles and then it tasted good, or did she?
I just think it tasted like Fruity Pebbles. I don't know if she did something to make it that
compliment.
way.
Some people taste like fish, so that's amazing.
Oh my God. Okay, but I actually loved the dynamic of the sinners and saints. I think it made the show really interesting.
It made me know who was who too. I was able to be like, oh. While we're on the subject, I loved Jessie too. Mm-hmm. I love that she's a year older than her husband. Get it, girl.
She's also a boss bitch. She calls herself the grandma in her bio because she's like, I think she's like 31 or 32. She's 31. And I was like, no, you are so set up compared to these other women. Like they're just kind of on their like starting their career paths.
She's got her hair going.
My God.
And I think she's blunt. She's forward. She's not afraid. She's not going to back down. She's going to show up for the drama.
And I love that she's like, we are not going to like partake in this patriarchal society. Like, fuck that.
I loved those two. Who else do we need to talk about?
Jen and Zach.
You might just need to cut my face. So
okay, let's be honest. There was really nothing about them. They weren't that too involved. I didn't care about their baby blessing crap. I actually liked the division between the group.
The way this man looks, there's no way he's related to an Affleck.
I agree. We got to bypass that for a beat. But like, you'll agree with me though, that like their storyline was like nothing at the beginning. So like there's nothing to talk about.
Sure.
It's just Vegas. Come on.
I thought he was ugly from the moment I saw him, but there was nothing else happening.
No, I'm saying like they don't have a storyline. The baby blessing really wasn't that big of a deal.
Didn't care. Yeah.
part.
I did think he was, because wasn't that after the hot tub thing?
Yes.
And Jesse was drinking, and he was like,
and that's why the
I
like
thought he
sinners
was-
tag got more on there.
I didn't like how on the phone call when I think it was Jesse and like Demi call,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Why are we uninvited?" or whatever, and Zach popped up. I didn't love that. I was
No,
like,
neither
"Ugh,
did
what's this albino man doing here?" But okay, I know you're hiding your face but he's so ugly and so bright.
No,
You
I
could
get
see
it.
him
It
in
just
a
wasn't
dark
the focal
theater.
point for me.
In a dark theater, he's
Jesus.
bright as light.
Okay, so they're
but
packing
then Vegas.
They're packing and getting ready for Vegas, and we talk about his budget for gambling. Also, he's coming to Vegas, and he has a budget for gambling.
He gambles. That's a red flag in the church.
Yeah, like okay, this is my biggest thing. I enjoy the sinners and saints thing, but like, why are the sinners shamed so hard when you're also a goddamn sinner over here, but like yours is okay?
Also, you're gambling with your wife's money. That's embarrassing. Anyway, he what was it? $2,500 is his budget,
which I feel
Vegas.
like is kind of nothing. But like that's how sad it is. Is like he gambled away. Apparently, his parents gave them money to live off of while he was in med school, and he gambled it all away.
Yeah, so now she has to support this fucking family. Can I also tell you, I don't know what's up with my TikTok algorithm, but I've gotten Jen's videos before too, because she dances on her tabletop.
Oh my god.
To her baby. I don't know what's fucked up about my algorithm. Anyway,
I really liked her, and I thought that she, like, her husband wasn't going to be so controlling, because she seemed like sometimes a little bit more meek, but like it would, like, this vivacious personality would come out of her. So I liked her.
24, and I was like, she's young, she's trying to find her voice. No, we got to Vegas, and when I could kill this man and feel nothing in my soul about it.
When they go to Chippendales and she doesn't know and she's telling him whatever,
this was
fine,
ridiculous. But there's people outside of the church whose husbands would react like this too. And
no,
so
I agree.
To all those men, grow a pair.
1,000%. But so she tells him, it annoyed me that she's sitting there when they're in the back room at the Chippendales and she's like, I can't believe this is happening. Bitch, if you want to leave, leave. Stop making a stink of it while standing there.
I'm not doing a TikTok. I'm not going to do it.
She makes it dramatic in her making her choice, but just like sit there or don't. Put oil on him or don't. You don't need to be so goddamn dramatic about it. If you don't want to be there doing it, don't.
Yeah, agreed. But also, you're not doing anything inherently wrong. You're okay, sure. Jesse and Demi have different relationships. They were oiling like a guy up or two. Great. But like, you don't have to do that.
No.
And then just stand there. Just be with your friends. Be present with your friends. Have a conversation with Taylor, who's
like
fucking
she
pregnant.
Was cool being there. Like, if you just asked her, she had no problem with any of it. I don't think she ever would have oiled them up.
Well, she said, but if they bring me up on stage, I'll leave.
Yes,
and I was like, that's not going to happen then.
No, but I think
to do that.
Overall, yeah, did she have her own personal boundaries with it? Yeah, but her biggest problem was that Zach had a problem with it. So that's why she was having a verbal meltdown, because she knew he would have a meltdown.
And which is ridiculous, because this man,
if we could even call him that,
is only insecure because every other person you hang out with is more attractive than him. So he's right away super insecure about it. He's busy gambling. He's doing something sinful. She's doing something sinful.
How did he have time to yell at her when he was gambling all the time?
Yeah, you're not supposed to have your phone out at the blackjack table. No. That's crazy. I just hate him. I hate the way that he dealt with it. I hate him texting her going, "We're done. I'm done."
Did you read that whole text?
I tried. It got kind of blurry. I will say do you want me to read as much as I can? I have it.
Yeah, while you prepare that. Listen, I think I'm not co-signing Dakota's like controllingness, but his ended up being it was easier to absorb, you know? Dakota had a meltdown, they talked it out, but it's not like he was saying like we're done over it, you know? It's like he was mad, they talked through it, whatever. It's like it's an easier to absorb controlling, and him and Taylor worked through it. Zach,
I'm done.
Full fucking meltdown, wants to divorce her.
You have 2 kids, and you're like, Oh, what did he say too before Vegas when she's like, what if we go to a Magic Mike show? And he goes, well, being a single mom and taking care of 2 kids would be tough.
I think he said,
and
I think he said being a single dad and taking care of 2, like, because
either way,
he would divorce her and get the kids. You have nothing.
I think he said mom as in like, you should think about what you're doing. Either way, shitty. Okay, so he said did you read this whole thing?
Yeah. As much as I could, because obviously that bottom paragraph gets cut off.
Seriously, I don't want to hear one more thing about your heart. Start taking accountability for your actions and the situations you put yourself in. You're a grown woman. Doesn't matter your intention. You were there, and that's the image you portray of yourself, family, church, etc. Everyone you represent with this platform. The fact you would have to ask is R word, which just tells you the language he uses.
Yeah.
Would you ever find, I don't know, something asking
it was
Kyle
a name, like another girl.
Yeah, something asking Kyle that? No, because she respects him. Or she respects her own values and her husband and would never put herself in that situation. The fact we are even having this conversation is sad, especially after everything with the something. Do you realize how dumb you would blank saying you're a blank blank and then it goes like blank? We can't get the rest.
I was like shook. It's like, okay, you're yelling at her for being in the situation she had very little control in. You're yelling at her that she told you, and basically you just wanted her to be mute and walk the hell away the minute she found out about it.
You're a fucking loser, dude. I hate when men are like, oh, you can't go to a Magic Mike show. I'm not cheating on you in this Magic Mike show. You calm down.
I feel like that's about it. I don't know if there was anybody else to go over.
Michaela was forgetful.
I feel bad for her. She had a whole storyline about her skin issues and they cut it out. She said she has a chronic illness and was at her worst during this. So she was like, I was mentally not there.
Oh,
I know.
And then Layla, go off, girl. A divorce party? That sounds lit. The fact, though, that she is divorced at 22 with 2 kids, I scream. That's crazy. But I would love if you have a second to talk about the last scene at the Michaela's birthday party where Whitney shows up.
Yes.
So Whitney shows up. She talks to Macy, who I love, by the way. I love Macy.
Macy's the perfect middle ground. You always need those people in the friend group.
And I just think Macy was fantastic. And I think her relationship was cute. Whatever.
You're going to die at her story. Get ready.
I read it. No. She posted about it and I watched a video. But Whitney and Macy go talk. Everyone else is in shambles that Whitney's here. But Michaela was really, really upset. And I think they glazed over that because, yeah, Whitney and Michaela were part of the Saints together. They were friends. They were really close, right? They met Taylor together. And then all of a sudden, Michaela's like, my birthday's ruined.
I don't think Michaela and Whitney were that close. That's why people were shocked that she came to her birthday party, but not Macy's event.
They were more friendly than any of Whitney and the Sinners.
That's true.
So all this happened, and then they have to go, like, do all the promo for it, right?
Well, a lot of them are saying that they, like, mended things, but they didn't know Whitney was saying a bunch of this stuff behind their back, so they're just confused. And then Whitney won't take any accountability. I think Whitney not taking accountability is what's creating the current present-day divide.
Yeah, because they did that one promo video where it's like, who do you think will have the most to answer for this season? And almost all of them said Whitney, except for Macy, who said Dakota, which checks out. I think even Whitney said herself, but she's not answering to anything.
I know.
Also, her husband is so gay. The minute maybe bisexual, the minute he popped up on my screen in that car, I literally went, who's this?
That
can't be her husband. That can't be her husband. And then also, why didn't we talk more about him cheating on her?
Because it was in episode 1 and then a year later.
Which I guess they came out and did a video about it. I saw a TikTok about it.
They did a YouTube. So, and I think the only reason she came out with that YouTube video is because they filmed that pilot. And then, because the pilot was filmed in like October of 2022.
And then
they did
happened.
in December, they did the YouTube video, and which has since been deleted. But they like came out publicly and said it to get ahead of it, I think, waiting for this show, but then it got put on pause. And so it's been 2 years basically since this stuff has been addressed.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but he has a porn addiction.
Correct.
Is what he said. And this is all coming from them. And he was also like harmed as a child, or like
he
something
was essayed
happened
as a child when he was like 5, I believe. I didn't find any more on that. Like that's all they said, I think.
And that's fine. He doesn't need to open up about that.
No, but people have said that a lot of times, well, maybe, I don't know if a lot is it, but like if you're essayed as a child, sometimes it can manifest in being over sexual because you're just trying to cope with it. And so it can lead to porn addictions and stuff like that. So like that is an unfortunate normal course.
Through
of
that,
life.
He then got a Tinder, he says, but no, it might have been a Grindr.
Correct.
To then emotionally cheat on his wife, because they said he never met up with anyone.
That piece I don't understand, Alicia, because he's like, he says he didn't have any serious conversations, but then says he was looking for something deeper, and I'm like, either deeper then emotionally or physically, like either way, how is that not anything serious?
Listen, I'm going to tell him this. Listen, Connor, if you're listening, no matter how many kids you have, it's not going to change the way you feel. I'm not going to think differently of you. And I'm so sorry.
Okay, that picture I posted where I compared him to My Husband's Not Gay.
Have you ever watched that show too? It's so funny.
It's just a documentary thing, but I've seen TikTok videos about it, and I think we should watch it at some point.
If it's a one season,
it's not even a season. I think it's an hour and a half or 2-hour documentary.
Yeah, I saw a clip where a man was literally like, yeah, I go on camping trips once a month with my boys. Yep. And I went,
Alicia, I Googled it because I was so curious for One Season Wonders. And it is about 3 guys who are married, and one is dating, trying to find a wife, and has to explain it to this girl.
He's already married? He's trying to find another wife?
No. 3 of the guys are married. The 4th is dating, trying to find a wife, and has to explain it to girls he is like interested in, that he is, they call it same-sex attraction, I believe. SSA. They're SSA.
Yeah, because he's not gay.
But they're not gay.
Yeah, that's
so like Connor could be SSA.
There it is. Connor might be SSA, but he's not gay. I'm so sorry for misspeaking. You're right, Connor. You're gonna be good, guy. No,
don't you worry.
I don't know what it was, but then someone, I don't know who. It was either a tweet or a TikTok. I think it was a tweet, but someone was like, I've been Whitney before. I think she's also in the closet.
Oh, it was something. Yes,
it was my tweet.
It was a tweet. It was a tweet. It was a tweet.
Or I found it on Twitter. But yeah, it was something like,
girl, you're a closeted lesbian.
Maybe they're beards, and that's okay too. But you could stop having kids anytime.
I think it's weirder for me to grasp their whole storyline, knowing she is pregnant with their 3rd child right now. It
doesn't matter how many kids you have.
Like, I don't believe in this. But if you guys are happy and this is like this weird partnership that you want, go off. You can live your life. But I'm just saying, I don't feel it.
There was also so many good creators showed me all these videos where, I think his name's Jordan. Let me find him exactly. But he is a gay man, and he literally did a video and was like, excuse me.
Is he the one who does those great recap? Like, he is recording himself while he's watching, and he is just like saying comments.
Jordy Cray.
I need to see.
Jordy Cray. He's fantastic. There was a video of, you know how some of the husbands don't want to be in TikToks? Like, I think Michaela was like, yes. TikTok thinks my husband hates me because he hates being in my TikToks. Connor doesn't. He loves being in TikTok.
He loves it.
And there was a video where it was like, they did like, do they think they're having a boy or a girl? And then at the end, they just dance. And this is not what I was thinking. So hard that Jordy Cray was like,
Alicia,
sir.
This is the problem with the timeline I had to do for Whitney and Connor is I had to watch so many of their videos from like early days of TikTok. And I was like, this is so uncomfortable.
I saw the baby video when it first came out. So an original pioneer, if you will. So funny though. My condolences to Connor and his true self though, but I hope
we
that
will hold a
come
candle
back
for
a minute.
you.
But Jordy Cray was so funny. He's like, I am a gay man, and I'm telling you right now, this man's not straight. This man's not. Listen, but I don't want to speculate on your sexual orientation because let it be known, no matter what Connor is, we will accept him for that. But sir,
but not the hair. I'm done with all the weird ass hairstyles. I don't accept you for your weird ass hairstyles.
The other funny thing is when you film a show, you're not supposed to change your hair, but I'm sure production
that
was
is
like,
slowly becoming
go
not
off, king.
a thing because typically you film the like transition to make it like the story makes sense, but theirs were so aggressive in the changes. That's what's hard.
I mean, I'm sure production was like, do you go off? We love to see it.
You can't have 7 looks in an 8 episode show.
I love it. Anyway, the Mormon Wives show was crazy, and I'm so here for it.
They better have a season 2.
It ended with that phone call.
Yes, which a lot of people are speculating that they immediately film season 2, so it's going to be like the Kardashians where they're kind of constantly filming and you just get drops of episodes.
Can you drop it already? That was a rude way to end the season. That was like really rude.
There's no way it's true. Like Taylor would not be with him.
When Taylor reposted Jenna's new video that she came out with.
Do you think Jenna's going to be on the next season?
I couldn't care less. I don't know. Who's Jenna? I literally too, they do a terrible job at explaining because the first we hear Jenna is like, oh, well, you were hanging out with Jenna. And I was like, who the fuck's Jenna? You have to set it up for me.
At least give me a picture.
These are editors of the Kardashians.
I don't know who it is.
But we know the Kardashians' history already. True. So like there's nothing to the imagination. You got to give us background.
I know. I don't know. I know who the figure of like who Jenna is in the theory, but I've never seen a picture of her. Don't really know any background on her.
Do we think she's Mormon?
Probably. I didn't even put her in Taylor's timeline. Actually, I never got to that piece of Taylor's timeline.
Do you want to do a mini moon to Salt Lake City?
If it's a mini. It's in the U.S.
Well, it's in the U.S. It's a mini. It doesn't matter if it's longer for me to get to Salt Lake City than London. Yeah. That's my mini moon. So what a great season, what a great episode. We'll take a mini moon to Salt Lake City, see if these girls want to hang out, get on our podcast.
We're in.
Do a little interview.
I'll even learn a TikTok dance for them. We can do a pod swap and a TikTok dance.
They did a interview with my arch nemesis Nick Vial, and he's of course posting about it because he's just here for clout. Anyway, we would be better at the interview than Nick Vial. I would guarantee it.
I don't want all like 7 of them at the same time. Give me like groups of like 2.
Yeah, but no matter what interview you have with Nick Vial versus what interview you have with us, ours would be better.
True.
Because we actually know reality TV and we're not fucking losers like Nick Vial.
Nope.
I want the internet beef. You should know. If Nick Vial has no haters, I am dead. Anyway, do all the things. Check us out. Everything's in our description. Please leave a review. Please show us some love. Thank you.
Do it. Thanks for joining. Bye.